Welcome to Hochoka Podcast.
In 2013, botanist Robin Wall Kimmerer published Braiding Sweetgrass. It took 7 years for the book to inch its way up the New York Times bestseller list. But since then, this book of indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teaching of plants has been hard to keep in stock. Let's talk to Monique Gray Smith, whose adaptation of the book, Braiding Sweetgrass for Young Adults, has made Kimmerer's valuable text more accessible to countless readers. Hello, Mitakiepi, and welcome to Hochoka, here at the center of St. Joseph's Indian Schools campus. I'm Scott Wooster, your Hochoka host. We're glad you've joined our circle with Monique Gray Smith, award-winning author, speaker, and professional consultant. Smith joined us earlier this season for a conversation on indigenous plantings with my wife, Lorraine. Monique, welcome back.
Grateful to be with you again, Scott.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. And also joining us today is my good friend and associate Native American Studies teacher here at St. Joe's, Charlotte Krogman.
Yeah, yes, Midakiepi, Charlotte Krogman Machiapi, Sichanku o Yanke e Mataha, Chante Washte Anape, Chusape. My name is Charlotte Krogman. I am a member of the Burnt Thigh Nation, or Rosebud Sioux Tribe, and I greet you with a good hand and heart.
So Charlotte, for our audience, some of you might remember her. She was on Season 5, Episode 8, one of our most famous, where Charlotte sang St. Patrick's Deer Cry, which is a good reflection of the indigenous advice, which is go spend time among the deer people.
Yes. So the song really was about St. Patrick and how he prayed. And in the prayer and the chant, he called on the directions, which we do, in Lakota and indigenous prayers. And he was being followed by the king's men. And he called to the Creator to help them, because they knew if they overtook them, then they would, have to be taken back to the king, and he didn't want them to, spread the word. So, calling on the directions, calling on the Creator, he and his men were transformed into deer. And when the followers came upon the spot that they were at, all they saw were deer. So that really, spoke a lot about his faith and his spirituality and the strength and the power of that, and how that protected them.
Yeah.
Very, very neat song, and happy to be a part of it.
I love that story that you tell, and I love the idea of shape-shifting, and that's so powerful, that story. And I would, if we had the time or inclination today, I would have you sing that all over again, because I think it would be great. I'm guessing you might not have the inclination to do that right. Yeah, another time. Yeah. So Monique, here in Hochoka, before we film, you've seen this. We often offer a wochekie or prayer before we go on camera, just to set the stage and make this space that we hold here a sacred space. At your suggestion, the best way to begin today's discussion is with and correct me if I say it wrong, the Haudenosaunee Haudenosaunee, thank you very much, the Thanksgiving address. And so for our audience who may not have heard it, and for me as well, to share this today, the desire of Oren R. Lyons. He's an Onondaga Nation member and Haudenosaunee faith keeper. Thank you. We'll unpack that a little bit further, but could you share the actual address with our audience, please?
So this is really an abbreviated version.
Okay.
Sometimes, and your audience can go on and just really go to Granny, Google Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address, and sometimes the address takes an hour and a half.
Okay. Wow.
And it's a beautiful way of giving gratitude and holding up the dignity and respect of all living beings. I'm going to actually read the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address from Braiding Sweetgrass from Young Adults. I'm not sure how much you can see, but this is the beautiful illustration by Nicole Neidhart. All the ways of gratitude for young readers and young at heart. I think Braiding Sweetgrass, although it says for young adults, it's also for young at heart. To to really reflect on what am I grateful for. So while it says Thanksgiving address, it's not Thanksgiving like we think of in November.
Yep.
It is a worldview
I like that.
of gratitude.
Yep.
Let us bring our minds together as one, as we send greetings and thanks to each other as people. In these gathered faces, we see that the cycles of life continue. Let us bring our minds together as one, as we send greetings and thanks to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us everything that we need for life. To the waters of the world that nurture life for all beings, and all the fish life in the water. The vast fields of plant life, the berries, the trees, and the medicine herbs of the world. Let us bring our minds together as one, as we send greetings and thanks to the edible plants we harvest. The garden, especially the three sisters. The beautiful animal life of the world, and all the birds who move and fly about above over our heads. Let us bring our minds together as one, as we send greetings and thanks to the powers we know as the four winds, who purify the air we breathe and help to bring the change of seasons. To our grandfathers, the thunder beings, who live in the west with their lightning and thundering voices. To our eldest brother, the sun, our oldest grandmother, the moon, and the stars who are spread across the sky like jewelry. Let us bring our minds together as one, as we send greetings and thanks to the enlightened teachers who have come to help throughout the ages. We now turn our thoughts to the Creator, or Great Spirit, and send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Now our minds are one. So I mean, every time I read that and look at Nicole's illustration, I'm just like, it settles my spirit. And I think about, in Braiding Sweetgrass and in Braiding Sweetgrass for Young Adults, we talk about the gift that has been given to Robin to share the Thanksgiving address, because she isn't Haudenosaunee. And so she went to Oren Lyons and asked for permission. And he, with his signature bewildered smile, said, of course it's supposed to be shared. If it had been shared 500 years ago, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in today.
That's great.
So I always like to talk about that, because I'm not Haudenosaunee. And it's important that when we share other nations' teachings and stories, that we hold up their dignity and say where that comes from.
Right.
And where the permission to share that has come from.
Yep. I like that too.
When we met on Zoom, Monique, to plan how best to share the material in Braiding Sweetgrass for Young Adults, you brought this forward as a great place to start, in which I agree with you. Can you tell us more about this address and how it is used, and what our staff and teachers can use it for, maybe in a classroom setting, or how we can give this to our kids in a really good way?
Well, I've heard early childhood educators say that they use the illustration for like 2, 3, 4-year-olds at that young of age, to look at the illustration and think about, what of that illustration, what's something today I'm grateful for. And so I think that when we start our day with gratitude, so if it's in the houses or if it's in the class, how do we start with gratitude? One, because it changes our brain chemistry, right? It creates a sense of connection and belonging, and lowers that stress hormone of cortisol, which then allows your learners to learn and allows them to be part of. And when we look at history for our people, there's been so many disruptions of being part of that we have to really work to make that feeling there, because we have epigenetic memories of not being part of. So we have to work on creating that for young people. But also, that's how I was raised. When I went to treatment as part of my journey in recovery from alcoholism, I was taught by this incredible human, Dr. Lee Brown, who said, when you say a prayer, you don't ask for something. You offer gratitude as if it's on its way. So thank you for, thank you for, thank you for. And so on my desk at home, I have this little frame, and it says, yes, not yet. I've got something even better in mind. So it's like when we really want something, like it's a yes. Like if it's in our best interest, it's a yes. It comes. Or it's not yet. It's like that teaching all good things in their rightful time, right? Because the word patience can trigger people. That we just say all good things in their rightful time.
Yeah.
And then I've got something even better in mind for you, right? Sometimes when we really want something and it doesn't happen, there's immense disappointment. And then something else happens, and 2 years later we can go, this was an even more joyous and blessed gift than had that happened. So, but I think that's all part of gratitude and living from this worldview of having thanksgiving that, and not only for us as humans, but for all living beings, as well as those that we can't see. Right? Like when we said our prayer, like it's an offering for those who are on the other side.
Our ancestors.
Our ancestors,
Yeah, I look at this as we try to take this and teach our staff, to almost lesson plan this kind of a thing. It's one thing to sit in a sacred space and talk about it. And the question then becomes, how do we get our house parents and teachers to be able to give that to the children? How do we teach that to them?
Yeah, well, what really struck me with that address is and I read the address in the book. At the end of each, stanza or prayer, now our minds are one. And to me, I'm getting chills right now from it, because it's very similar to our Lakota phrase, Midaki Oyasi, which means we're all related. So that indigenous mindset of being thankful and being connected has power in it. Just by giving that thanks back to all of creation and knowing we're just a part of it and we're not, above it or below it. We're in one. We are one. We are all related. So that creates...
just for a moment?
Yeah.
In Nihawewen, in Cree, it's Wagotawin. We are all related. And when I think about that, and when you're asking about maybe educators who are new in this kind of worldview of thinking, that's where it has to start, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what am I grateful for? And for so long in education, the teaching has been the adults in the room have all the answers. But if we think about it from this worldview, it's like, what might I learn today from those who are in my class, right? Like, what a gift I am to be an educator here at St. Joe's. So then when I walk into the class, the energy I bring into the class shifts, or the energy I bring into my home is softer, it's gentler. And from that place, I think like miracles can happen. Magic happens.
Yeah, we can learn a lot from our little teachers. They have a wealth of knowledge and joy and thankfulness. They do. They really teach us every day. I feel like we just have to listen. Listen and be prepared for that. So, Namaste. Thanks for... so, creating that bond, to be thankful to the Creator. Lakota people, we give thanks to the day. And I know you mentioned that. First thing, when hunting, we offer thanks to our animal relatives that have given their lives to sustain ours. And just our ancestors. Thanks for all their contributions to what we are today. It really, there are so many things to be thankful for. And I know in Braiding Sweetgrass for young adults, you mentioned the gift economy. And that, even that in itself is just reinforcing that thankfulness. And Scott mentioned it's kind of limitless on how we can take from that one chapter alone so many lessons. Here on St. Joe's campus, we have, Minishoshe, the Missouri River. That's healing, a place to go and to meditate or to pray. We have sweetgrass and sage, and our Shunkawakan relatives are on campus. We have our horse barn. And so all of these resources are available to our staff here. And I think it would be beneficial for staff as well to go with their kids. And that could be from teachers teaching about the botany, the indigenous plants on campus, or water. There's so many things you could take from that, or our counseling department. They could take the kids to any of those spots and just be, even just meditate. And our house parents, so that they know what's on. And the kids could probably teach them, too, a lot. They've even grown up in this area. They know a lot from their families. So, yeah, I think, we could take so many things, but that thankfulness and that gratitude can be underlying all of that. So.
There's a doctor in Japan, his name's Dr. Yamamoto, and he did this research with 3 jars of rice and water for 30 days to 1 jar. Have you seen this?
I think I have.
To 1 jar, he said very unkind words. To the next jar, he ignored. And then to the 3rd jar, he said words of gratitude every day. And over the 30 days, the jar that had the unkind words kind of turned dark and icky. The jar that was ignored actually rotted. And then the jar that was given these words of gratitude, flourished, began to grow new rice. And so if we think that's what happens to rice, what happens to us?
Right.
So I think sometimes as educators or adults, our tongue can be a place of medicine or it can be a place of harm.
Yeah.
But what it requires is that we have to take care of ourselves. Because if I'm not taking care of myself, then it's easier for words of harm to come out. So when we think about all of this in the classroom or in the house as house parents, I always think it comes back to us, right? And our own practices of kindness and our own care and what is our own journey of being grateful for all living beings.
Absolutely.
Because it's pretty hard to ask learners to write a gratitude journal or to offer Thanksgiving by offering tobacco before going out to harvest or whatever if they're not the young. And this is the thing, like you were saying with the children, they'll feel that disconnect. They'll be
yeah.
And then we'll see it in their behavior because they might not have the language to say, you're out of integrity here.
They know.
Yeah, but they know.
For sure.
They feel it. They know. They're wise.
Right?
Yes, they are.
We have such a neat gift here at St. Joe's in the Native American Studies program. I know that you and Lorraine, everything that you've talked about so far, I've seen you guys do that in the classroom down there, and it's a really a wonderful place. You see it every day, what you get to do down there. It's such a neat thing.
We're very blessed with the opportunity.
Yeah. Everything you're talking about, you're actually doing, and I know that for a fact. I'm going to come back to you, Monique, with the book. So we've got it sitting here on the table. We've read a little bit of an excerpt from it. What prompted you? So I've read Kimmerer's book, and it's a fantastic book. I loved it. And what prompted you to do the adaptation?
I didn't really want to initially. It felt a bit daunting.
Yeah.
I first read Braiding Sweetgrass in 2015, and just after reading the prologue, I had to put it down and let everything find its rightful place. It took me a year to read the book.
Yeah.
Because there was so much beauty and so much that reminded me of my childhood. And then the opportunity unfolded, and my first call was to Robin to say I didn't know her. I just Googled her up and found an email.
Wow.
Because even though the business people were taking care of the business stuff, the contracts and everything, I wanted to make sure I was a fit for her.
Yeah.
Because this is like one of her babies, and it's kind of like when you ask somebody to care for one of your babies, you want to make sure they're somebody you trust.
Well, I'll step back. Why did they approach you? Why you?
My friend Tracy Sorrell, who's a Cherokee author, she had heard that Lerner Publishing had gotten the rights for the adaptation, and she had put my name forward. Yeah. And she actually called me and said, hey, Lerner's got the rights to adapt Braiding Sweetgrass for young adults. And I laughed because I was like, good luck to whoever's going to do that.
Right.
And she's like, well, actually.
It's you. Enjoy.
And it took a couple years for things to happen, so I was not really thinking it was going to happen. And then when it did, then I reached out to Robin.
All good things in all good time.
Things in their rightful time. And then once everything was settled, I had 6 months and only a third of the word count. So it was a very, very intense project.
Yeah, I bet.
And probably the project where I felt, other than Speaking Our Truth, A Journey of Reconciliation, where I felt the most immense responsibility to take somebody's sacred work and adapt it for another generation. And I didn't really want to initially, because it's sort of like you're saying about being in the classroom, like it's a blessed opportunity. And initially I felt overwhelmed by it. And then I was like, okay, that overwhelm isn't moving me forward. So I have to change my mind and change my heart and see it as a blessed opportunity. And when I did that, it unfolded with ease. Not always with ease, but with much more ease. And incredible opportunity to work with Nicole Neidhart. She was living in Santa Fe with her family, and I went to stay for a week, and we, unpacked what might be the main illustration for each chapter, and we just had this incredible week. So in the end, when I look at it, I go, for lots of reasons. And in the young adult adaptation, there's calls to action, there's pullouts, there's reflections. We really focused on history because this generation is really the first generation understanding the truth of history. We focused on social and emotional learning and literacy. So there's more ways in for people. And it's also now, not that you have to start at the beginning of the book, you can kind of open. This is one of the things I was very intentional about, that an educator in the classroom could say to a learner, okay, open up and find one of the braids of sweetgrass that has a quote in it. And let's talk about that to start our day. So it's not one of those books that can be intimidating. It's like, oh, okay, I'll just open and let's see what's the first quote we find here. Science and traditional knowledge may ask different questions and speak different languages, but they may converge when both truly listen to the plants. There's our conversation to start the day.
Well, perhaps the piece I most want to develop in our students is that sense of reciprocity, that we have a relationship with all things. I mentioned earlier, our phrase, Midakuye Oyasi. All things are related, all my relatives. And I love the sense that the more we take care of ourselves, the more we can take care of others.
Charla, that's probably a good place to end this. I think that final piece on reciprocity is, what do we do with that? We're thankful for the things that we have. How do we take that and do something good with it? Which is the message that I got from both of you today, which is nice, and I hope our viewers get to share that. But I thank both of you for joining us here at Hochoka and talking about this fantastic book and talking about why we should be grateful, and look forward to you sharing that with the kids here too, both of you for that matter.
Thank you.
And we thank our viewers for joining us here at Hochoka at the center of St. Joseph's Indian Schools campus, where we talk about issues that are central to Native American education today. Until next time, stay centered.